This is literally gonna be like a 10-minute video, maybe. It's just gonna be a short one to see if we can get through the route. Kurokami mentioned mentioned that. She talked about my pitch black soot.
何ですか、すすって。言葉通りの意味ではないですよね。
What does that mean? It means more than it sounds like, doesn't it?
すすだはかつて、すすの田んぼと書いた。何なんですか。
You also told me Susuda used to be written as field of soot. Just what is this soot?
今日一日協力したんです。もう教えてくれてもいいですよね。
I helped you out today. Can't you tell me?
長い話になるわ。日を改めましょう。
It's a long story. Let's save it for another day.
次の日曜はどう？電話するわ。
Next Sunday, I'll call you. Hina got to drop me off at my apartment. She promised to tell me everything. In hindsight, nothing leading up to this day felt like chance. Even if they were coincidences to me, I believed this was all the work of fate. How could I save them? Was I arrogant? Was I truly a corrupt being whose presence brought misfortune to them all?
この男と共になってはならない。
You mustn't be with this man.
鈴原に近づきすぎれば不幸が訪れる。
If you get too close to him, he'll bring you misfortune. Kurokami's words played back in my mind. Was I guided here to save them from something evil? Or was I cursed? Was I a cursed being, making sport of them? I didn't know. I couldn't tell what I was anymore. Kiko appeared to be doing better. At the moment, it felt more like she was suffering from a bad cold. She recovered enough to force a smile.
遅かったね。
You're late.
雛形先生と一緒に他の子たちのところへお見舞いに。
Sorry, I went and visited the others with Miss Hinagata.
ちょっと嫉妬しちゃうかな。私だけへのお見舞いだったらよかったのに。
I'm sort of jealous. I wish you'd only come to visit me.
でもみんな少しは辛いのが和らいだように見えたよ。
But they're all feeling better.
鈴には悪いのを追い払っちゃう素敵な力があるからね。
Because you got the power to drive away the bad things. Yet, I failed to save Kurokami. If Kiko was any indicator, Minobe and Ruria would be back to normal within a few days. No, perhaps they'd be well enough to go back to school by tomorrow. At least I managed to save them all. That was right. That was the silver lining. I didn't want to believe I was corrupted. My mere presence brought everyone misfortune. I didn't want to believe it. That night I called my dad. I figured my dad might know something. But he didn't know what Susuda had originally been written as Field of Soot. Furthermore, my dad was furious at Kurokami's claims I was corrupted, saying no one who trained under the divine tribute style could be corrupt. My father wasn't two-faced. He was no liar, meaning he really didn't know anything. Once I hung up, I noticed a call from Kiko. Called her back and picked up right away.
長い電話だったね。誰？
That was a long phone call. Who was it?
家に電話してたんだよ。いろいろ聞きたいことがあって。
I called my parents. I had some questions for them.
そうなんだ。
嘘なんかつかないよ。
Is that true? Yeah, I wouldn't lie.
だよね。ごめんねごめんね。
You're right. Sorry about that.
てっきり他の女の子とずっと電話してるのかと思って。
I figured you were on the phone with another girl.
女の嫉妬って見苦しいよね。反省。
Jealousy is an evil look, eh? I need to be better.
なんで嫉妬なんかするの？
Why would you be jealous?
だって私とスズムって付き合ってるわけでしょ？
Because we're dating, right?
深夜のプライベートな時間に電話とかできるってのは彼女の特権だと思うし。
I believe phone calls in the dead of night should be something only your girlfriend gets to do.
そうだね。他の女の子と長話をしてたらなんだか面白くないよね。
That's true. It wouldn't be good if I spent that much time talking to another girl.
でもね、 その一方でプライベートな時間を自分だけが侵食してもいいっていうのもおごりだと思うわけ。
But on the other hand, I believe it's selfish to eat into someone else's free time.
スズムが誰と電話したってどう過ごしたって自由な時間のはずなのに、それを自分だけが独占したいって
You should be able to do
ひ
whatever
ど
you
いな
want
って思って。
with your free time. It's wrong for me to want to monopolize it.
恋人同士ってそういうのあるよね。
But isn't that what it means to be a couple, right?
でも僕はなんだかそういうのはおかしいなって思うんだ。
I think there's something strange about all this.
だってお互いより楽しい人生を作るために一緒になったんでしょ。
I mean, we got together to enrich in our lives, correct?
だよね。なのに一緒になった後の方が気苦労が多いんじゃ
Right?
おかしいよね。
It's so weird we've been worrying so much more after we got together.
つまるところ私がスズムを信頼していない証拠なわけだし、
I mean, it just sounds like I don't trust you.
もっと大人になって素敵な彼女になる。
I gotta work to become a more wonderful girlfriend. What's up with my phone? I checked to find an incoming call from Raria, but I was talking with Kiko at the moment, so I wasn't in a position to pick up.
どうしたの？
What's up?
リリアちゃんから電話みたい。
Looks like Raria is calling.
なんだろうね。後でメールで聞いてみるよ。
I wonder what she wants. I'll just text her after.
しなくていいよ。
You don't have to.
どうせ大した用事じゃないよ。こんな遅い時間にかけてくるなんて失礼しちゃうよね。
She shouldn't be calling this late at night anyway. It's rude. Kiko's voice was stone cold, like someone else had taken over the phone. That sent shivers down my spine.
大方スズムがお見舞いに来てくれたんで浮かれてるんだよ。
She's getting full of herself just because you went to visit her.
自分だけのとこに来てくれたとでも思ってんのかな。おめでたい女だね。
Did she really think you went to visit her alone? How naive.
あの子芸能人ってだけあって私たちと生きてる世界は違うから。
It's because she's in the entertainment industry. She lives in an entirely different world than the rest of us.
あの子が何を言ってもあまり真に受けない方がいいと思うよ。
Don't take anything she says seriously.
そもそもアイドルなんて気のありそうなふりをして自分に恋愛を錯覚させるプロってことでしょ。
Besides, idols are professional fakes. They'll do anything to make you fall for them.
スズムのこと珍しいタイプだからからかってみたいだけって陰で言ってたの。
She talks
聞
behind
い
your
たも
back.
ん。
She said she just wanted to tease you because you're an unusual person.
男に貢がせることを小学校の時から仕事にしてきたような子だよ。生きてる世界が違いすぎるよ。
She's a girl who's been working since grade school in a job financed by men. Our worlds are way too different.
でもスズムは男の子だからついつい騙されちゃうようなことがあるかもしれない。
Or maybe she doesn't even realize she's tricking you. She just does it as force of habit because you're a boy.
だから私のいないところであの子と話をしたりメールをしたりしちゃう。
Don't talk to her or text her when I'm not around.
約束して。
Promise? I didn't want to believe Kiko would say those kind of things about Riria. And naturally, I didn't want to believe Riria prided herself in tricking people either.
僕を信じてほしいな。
I want you to trust me.
僕は今キコちゃんとお付き合いをしてるんだよ。
The two of us are going out right now.
誤解を招くようなことをしてキコちゃんを悲しませるようなことは絶対にしないよ。
I never do anything that would betray your trust like that. I never do anything to make you sad. I never do anything to cause misunderstandings between us.
ごめんねスズム。
Sorry, Suzumu.
これってスズムが悪いわけじゃないし、だからスズムがそんなに申し訳なさそうにするのはおかしいよ。
It's not like this is your fault. You shouldn't be felt guilty about it.
だってあの子がスズムに興味を持つのはそれだけスズムが魅力的な証拠だもん。
The fact she took an interest in you shows how attractive you are.
そのスズムを虫から守るのは彼女の務めだと思う。だからスズムは全然気にしなくていい。
It's my job to protect you against mosquitoes like that. So you don't need to worry about a thing.
私が頑張るから。
Because I'll work my hardest.
頑張るって
I'm sorry, what was that?
こっちの話スズムは忘れて。
Just talking to myself, forget it. Haha. I get the feeling she's going yandere. I never could have imagined such a hollow laughter from Kiko. The two of us were only separated by a thin wall. I could hear some sort of sound coming from her room. It sounded like someone kicking the bed or something.
キコ
Oh, maybe she already locked that girl in her room? I could hear her labor breathing, so I couldn't tell her. I definitely couldn't tell her that I'd just received a text from Minobe.
じゃあ今夜はこれできるね。おやすみ。
I'm gonna hang up for tonight. Good night, Suzumu. Good night. I didn't want to answer it. I didn't know how she'd take it if she learned that I read texts from both of them. I couldn't imagine it at all. No, I was too afraid to imagine it. Just then I heard a thud from the next room over. It shook a little. I could hear indignant roars through the wall. Don't F with me. Pick up, you bitch. Out of range? Don't turn your phone off on me, you goddamn. I could hear her as loudly as if she were in this very room. She must have just called Riri, I was sure of it. A moment later, the wall shook with a violent kick. I could tell if she'd kicked it out of rage. I couldn't tell if she kicked it out of rage over Riria or if she was trying to threaten me. It'd be best to delete the texts without reading them. But it could have been something important, so I'd take a quick peek to find out. And if it wasn't, I'd delete it and forget all about it. Carefully surveyed my surroundings. I doubted there was a hole in the wall or anything. My curtains were shut. I'd be okay. I'd be fine. With a loud gulp, I opened the text. Thank you. Were you aware that Uemura used to be a delinquent until middle school? So the text was like thanking him for coming that afternoon. She was a member of a gang of female delinquents known as the Bloodstained Angels. If you search for Bloodstained Angels in Bakukiko, I'm sure you'll find some frightening photos. Where did she find out about this? As if gossip about Kiko wasn't bad enough. The text started out calm, but she stopped using punctuation abruptly, turning the text into walls of slander against Kiko. That girl is crazy. She's insane. Did you know she hurt some people so bad they had to go to the hospital? She has a history with the police, too. Isn't it crazy how someone like that can put on such a cutesy act? It's stupid, isn't it? She should die in a goddamn... goddamn Heike. Oh, this is on purpose. Goddamn I knew I shouldn't have looked. Oh, my time with the LCSC hadn't been too long. I got along with everyone and thought it'd last forever. I didn't want to read something like this. Carrie's text had a deep scar on my heart. Ariri's text left a deep scar on my heart. There was still one more to go, Minobe's text. Honestly, I was depressed enough, so I decided to only read the subject.
Huh?
There was an image attached. What in the world was this? I opened the image. Sorry, Suzumoon, I can't give up on you. So I decided to cast a charm that will cause you and Kiki to break up peacefully. It's a love charm popular in the Arkane Minobe Kingdom. It works like a charm, literally. I'll send you one of these each night until my wish comes true. What she had attached was a photo of a slender, blood-stained left leg. Was that Minobe's leg? Her left leg was sitting on top of a bloody white towel with a gaping cut in her ankle. A razor was sitting next to it. She must have used that to slice herself open. I groaned as bile welled up in my throat. There was one last message written after the photo. I'll send you another one tomorrow night. Hope you're looking forward to it. I threw my phone away and crawled under my covers. If I didn't stop thinking immediately, those emotions would certainly swallow me whole. I screamed as I heard a text notification chime. I didn't want to see another text. What the heck? What? This is insane. 3 human figures stood in the classroom, illuminated by the faint moonlight. They were holding hands, standing in a circle. A desk with a small candle stood in between them. The tiny light illuminated them and projected their shadows onto the classroom wall, looming large like monsters. They both looked like humans, and like deer standing on their hind legs. They look both like those. As for why one would think they looked like those, the shadows had branch-like horns growing out of their heads. Didn't one of them cut their leg off?
ああ小賢しや
Imp-
人をにめ
impertinent man demons.
復讐を夢見てすでに
I have dreamt of
育成層
I have dreamt of revenge for many moons.
あの子が欲しい
I want that child.
あの子じゃわからん
Whatever child do you mean?
相談しましょう
Let us have a chat.
そうしましょう
Yes, let us. The three-horned humans slowly spun around as they sung a tuneless children's tune. Their expressions were completely vacant.
お山の鹿さんちょっと来ておくれ
Come over here, mountain deer, mountain deer.
鬼がいるから行かれない
I can't, for there are demons over there.
お釜をかぶってちょっと来ておくれ
Make a helmet from a pot, mountain deer, mountain deer.
角があるからかぶれない
I can't, for my antlers I fear.
お布団かぶってちょっと来ておくれ
Make cover with your covers, mountain deer, deer.
すすって真っ黒かぶれない
I can't, for I am sooty.
あの子が欲しい
I fear. I want that child.
あの子じゃわからん
Whatever child do you mean?
相談しましょう
Let's have a chat.
そうしましょう
Yes, let us. All of a sudden they stopped. Heavy silence descended. None of them so much as moved a muscle.
包むが欲しい
I want Suzumu. Snap. Sound like the crushing of plied branches resounded. Kinda had crushed Tsubikiko's fingers. Yet Tsubikiko didn't even flinch.
包むはやらん
You cannot have him. Another snap. Tsubikiko bent Kane's fingers.
おすすが欲しい
I want his soot.
おすすはやらん
You can't have his soot. Another snap followed by the sound of mashing meat.
すすさふらしておいたし
Rain down, soot.
人にの里さを置いたし
Soot cover the village of man demons.
わざわざ募らす呪いのすすさ
Bring forth calamity, cursed soot. The three kept singing and crushing each other's fingers as though it were some kind of children's game. They started out in a circle, but they gradually broke apart. Just then, the three bizarre human-like creatures started swelling and mixing together.
鈴むが欲しい
I want Suzumu.
私が欲しい
I want him.
むしらにゃ譲らん
You shall not have him. They clawed, bit, and tore at each other. Loud and wet sounds roared every time they met. Dark splashes painted the wall, blackboard, floor, and desks. Eventually, the desk with the candle fell over, extinguishing the only light in the room. The sole illumination left in the pitch-black classroom was the faint strand of moonlight shining through. All that gleamed through the darkness was the crimson glow of eyes not human. It was impossible to even tell there were three of them anymore. They merely continued swaying and eating each other. Splatters of black blood and chunks of gnawed flesh littered the room. Fingers, skin, earlobes, eyelids, nails, scalps, blood vessels, and entrails were scattered everywhere. How pleasant. Eventually, the human-like figures turned into husks. They convulsed over and over, but it seemed they were no longer capable of killing. There was too little of them left. One of the husks staggered to its feet. Their whole body had been torn out and gnawed limb from limb, so they couldn't even be called human anymore. All that was left was a shell, a human skeleton clad in blood-stained flesh and the blood vessels. It rose off the ground, looking at the ceiling, and howled.
これで鈴むは私だけのもの
Yes, now Suzumu is mine, and mine alone.
鈴む
Suzumu, I love you.
愛してる。だから愛して。鈴夢は私のものだから。
I love you so much. I love you. So love me. You belong to me now. Okay. I couldn't make heads or tails of that dream, but it felt real to me. Kiko's room was unlocked and her shoes were gone. She'd gone out in the middle of the night. I called her phone, but it merely shut in the dark. I didn't know where she'd gone, but my nightmare had taken place at the school. I couldn't get a good look in the dark, but it appeared to have been the LCSC's clubroom. The entryway was probably locked, so I couldn't get in from there, but the LCSC's clubroom was right above the infirmary. The infirmary was right in front of where you crossed over the schoolyards. The clubroom was. All of a sudden, I thought I saw a small light come from within the clubroom window. It wasn't the room's light. This was the light orange and swaying. I ran over to the window and realized it was a fire. Flames had spread all throughout the clubroom, brightly illuminating the world inside. And it exploded? At that moment, there was an orange burst, and the window shattered and scattered everywhere like snow. I ran through the blizzard and jumped into the clubroom. Crimson flames were lapping the room. And just as I'd seen in my nightmare, Minobe, Riri, and Tsubikiko were in the center, reduced to chunks of meat. And that really wasn't a dream. All three of them had fallen for me and fought over me. And then they all killed each other right there. I brought about this tragedy. Kurokami was right. I was corrupt, cursed. So this happened because they got close to me. And even if I want to apologize, I couldn't even tell which of them was which anymore. Just then the flames swelled higher like a wave. And as the scorching wind blazed on through, I felt someone slowly stand up behind me. I turned around and saw her. Suzumu, I love you. Her voice and figure were Kiko's, but that couldn't be, because Kiko was already nothing more than a pile of flesh at my feet. So no matter how much it looked like her, it wasn't her. But I couldn't help but see it as her. Sorry, Kiko. I really am cursed. It's okay, Suzumu. It's not your fault, because... This was all set in stone, ages ago, longer than you could even imagine. It was fate. So, it's not your fault. I slowly embraced the girl clad in flames. Her flames engulfed me, and before long our shape became one. The flames would scorch all, burn them all to the ground, and reduce them to soot. Kiko, Minobe, Riria, me, all of us. We'd all turn to soot, become one, and return to heaven. All of us would become one. I've waited 1,000 years. You finally come for me. She had been waiting in there for so long. Trapped in that bronze prison along with the soot for 1,000 agonizing years. Oh, I see. It's because of her that I embarked on this long journey. In my last moments I finally realized it. This was where I was meant to return. And that's probably the end of that section. Yep. Should we watch the intro? If I don't accidentally click, maybe I'll watch it. It may change depending on the route, though. That I don't know. There's the shrine. The doll shrine. There's the doll shrine entrance. There's Kurokami Toei. There's the bell that he broke with his fist in this chapter. Suzumu. Tsubikiko, Kanae, Riria, Mayu, Natsuya, Toei. Toei. Yeah, so there are spoilers in here. Because I don't think we've seen that picture of Toei with the horns. We've seen all of these so far, knock on wood. We just saw that. So yeah, there's some real spoilers in here. I'll stop watching. Nope, there's the deer or whatever. Okay, so yeah, I just wanted to play to finish the route. I probably would have continued if it was clearly her route, but it's not clearly her route. So, I would have at least seen if it was her route, but I don't think it's gonna be very clear. You know what I'll do though? I'm just curious who appears. Okay, so this is like a Suzumu route. Okay, we're gonna learn about his past. This is probably like 1,000 years ago. So we'll do that next time. Bye.